I wanted to buy a ring for Estelle 1 year to reconfirm our vows. I get a little choked up when I talk about diamonds. I'll never forget how Estelle looked. It was a springtime day such as today. We went to the jewelry store and I got recognized. The guy there said, "Hey, Grease, how are you? Hobble. Maybe the lady would like to try on a special diamond we've imported for the Sheik of Arabic." And I looked at the size of that thing. I said, "No, that's a little rich for my blood." She said, "Oh, let me put it on." That was the mistake I made. Letting that hog put that ring on. It was made for the Sheik's delicate wife. So fair, draped in cloths, a slender wisp of a lass. Not for a big lumbering beast like Estelle. She put that ring on, and it wouldn't come off. At first we all chuckled. Oh, that's a common ploy. You get a $20,000 ring on your hand and then say it won't come off, you'll have to keep it. Ha ha, we all laughed. Till Estelle said to me, "Honey, I don't think it's coming off. I don't think it's coming off." And so we yanked and we pulled and we yanked and we pulled. We went to the bathroom and we soaped up her hand and we still couldn't get it off. I said, "You slob! Did you have seen all those mellow eyes?" She said, "Don't call me a slob in front of all these people. Look, they're looking at us." I said, "I don't care. I don't care. You think I'm going to pay 20 G's so you can keep that ring? You nuts, you nuts, you nuts." I said, "Buddy, I'll get that ring from you. You know who I am, the Greaseman. Hobble, 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 right here. I'm good for it. I want to take her home. I'll get that thing off. No problem." Well, they were a little disconcerted at the store. But sure enough, they let me go. I took her home. I said, "Estelle, this ring's coming off no matter what." She said, "What are you going to do?" I went to the shed and I got my Black & Decker chainsaw. I said, "I'll cut your finger right off if I have to." She said, "My God." I said, "Well, then soap it up and get it off." Wow, wow, wow. I followed her around with that chainsaw threateningly. And her finger turned blue and green, but no. I said, "Well, I told those guys I'd be back by 4 o'clock, and I will be back by 4 o'clock. Let me tell you something, Estelle. You better have that ring off. I don't care what you do. You cut your finger off if you have to. You hear me? You hear me? I'm talking to you now. You hearing what I'm saying?" And I went out to the door and I went back to the jewelry store and finally, Estelle called up. She said, "I got it off, honey, but it's lodged." I said, "Oh my God, how am I going to tell the guy?" The jewelry store guy came over and said, "What's the matter?" I said, "It's off." He said, "Thank God." I said, "But it's lodged." She said she had given up trying when she started picking, and he said, "I've heard this story before." He said, "I've heard this story before. People get terrified. They get a ring stuck on their finger. They can't get it off, and then later on when they're picking their nose, the ring becomes somehow lubricated with mucosa and can get actually lodged in the nasal passages." He said, "Don't worry. I'll call the ear, nose, and throat guy, have him meet us down here. Tell her to get on the way." I said, "Okay, Estelle, come on." "What?" "Is what? Uh-huh. Yeah." I put my hand over the phone. I said to the jeweler, "Buddy, you better call the proctologist."
Hey, when it comes to crazy, this man wrote the book. He'll be signing autographs immediately after the show. Greaseman.